r/AskReddit by Reddify. What's the most hatred you've had towards a fictional character? Darlor's Umbridge. Even Stephen King, the Grand Maestro of all things frightful, acknowledged this in his review of Order of the Phoenix for Entertainment Weekly, writing, "The gently smiling Darlor's Umbridge, with her girlish voice, toad-like face, and clutching, stubby fingers, is the greatest make-believe villain to come along since Hannibal Lecter. Joffrey. I cheered as he died. The ducking annoying kid in the Polar Express. God, that nasal voice really got to me." If you are enjoying the video, please give a thumbs up and leave a comment. Kent Mansley from the Iron Giant. When he calls the nuke on the town then tries to flee, I turn red with rage. DW from Arthur. When Percy steps on Delacroix's rat in the Green Mile. Nobody said macaw yet. Duck macaw. Have you been in the Cloud District very often? Snape. If you watch the movies you may be tricked into believing he was simply a really mean teacher and what he did was very heroic. If you read the books, there's countless examples of what a petulant child he is. He goes to extreme lengths to essentially bully a child because he didn't like his father, not to mention anyone who is friends with him or not in his house. The best example is book 3. Snape is getting praised from Fudge about saving the students and bringing in Black. He's getting the Order of Merlin and he's soaking this nonsense up and goes out of his way to tell Fudge how Potter should be punished for breaking so many rules all the time. When they go back in time and change this, he loses his mind, literally screaming at Fudge that Potter is at fault, and even Fudge realizes Snape is being a child. Snape is so mad about this that he accidentally spills the beans about Lupin to get him essentially out of Hogwarts. He's a toxic person and his heroic actions that he does for purely selfish reasons, not for the good of anyone else, except the one person you loved, does not redeem him to make him a good character. Big Smoke is a duck sellout. He worked with the Busters and brought cocaine into our neighborhood. Look at Grove Street today. It's a damn shame. The moon landing denier in Interstellar. Never have I so badly wanted to reach into the screen and strangle someone as that character. That guy that bit and almost killed 4-year-old Remus Lupin in HP on his birthday and turned him into a werewolf to take revenge because of some petty words Remus' father said about him. Fenry Greyback. I absolutely despise him. I find it really messed up, the whole planning of it. He made Remus' father bite his own words. Werewolves deserve nothing but death, etc. By making his son a werewolf feel guilt for the rest of his life and left scars on his son's face as a reminder. The mere thought that he chose to take revenge on his son instead of him alone is unsettling. Greyback is honestly one of the low-key bad guys in HP, but he was way too morbid. I honestly think he's even worse than Voldemort. The Warden from Shawshank or Percy from the Green Mile. Evil in its purest form. Tony Soprano's. I loathe that character so much that when I heard the actress who played her actually passed away, my first response was good. This was immediately followed by a surge of guilt for wishing ill on someone whose only crime was doing a remarkable job playing a character I hated. Nurse Ratched in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Laurie Grimes from TWD. Forget palming your son off on other people. Ducking your husband's best friend a couple of months after he supposedly died, and then handling it in the worst way possible. Just answer me this. How? The duck. Do you crash a car on an entitled Mom-Pty stretch of highway? Ramsey ducking Bolson. Commodus, Joaquin Phoenix, in Gladiator. Scrappy-Doo. He knows what he did. Griffith. r/Grandpa Johat. Peter Pettigrew. Duck that guy. No more needs to be said. Long intro. Sorry. Okay. So I have a different way of leveling up my smithing than the majority of people who play Skyrim. Mainly because it takes a lot longer than iron daggers. Ever since the DLC where you could craft arrows, I would craft steel arrows until I got dwarven smithing. I would then make dwarven arrows until I reached level 100. It's more time consuming, but it is cheaper and more beneficial than iron daggers. Anyway, I do this in Whiterun next to Beletha's shop and Sigurd is always there. I swear the man does nothing but chop wood. I mean, Beletha could hire a child to do that or something. What is this guy's purpose? So one run I'm collecting every single dwarven plate and other materials I could find, and when I smelted it down and came to around 300 ingots, I then began the tedious process of chopping enough wood to craft arrows from all of this. After about 20-25 minuets of this, I finally finished and dropped the wood, so I can run to the forge, and this guy comes up and takes them. Says you dropped this, figured you would want it back, and hands me one of them. I check his inventory and they are all gone. Probably gave them to Beletha. Sleazy bastard. And my last save was when I entered Whiterun. This was 3 years ago, and I still kill Sigurd in every run to this day. Umbridge naturally. I hate Brian Griffin from Family Guy. I hate his guts, and I hate everything about him. You could say I'm a real quagmire about him. K-Win. No killing yet? Good. Lem tell you why anyone who's played Mass Effect 3 hates this ducker. Dude had potential to be a pretty good villain had he even been referenced in Me 1 or 2. But no. He pops up out of nowhere in 3 as the elusive man's weeb puppet / dog. On Thesha you can't kill him because of plot armor shields. And he mocks you as you lose control of your Shepard derivative in favor of a cutscene. On the Citadel he bests Thane, arguably the best assassin in the galaxy, while you again lose control of Shepard to a cutscene, so that he /she pursues Length Skycar. Oh. You played an infiltrator carrying an M98 Widow, a gun you could kill a building with. You picked an adept that could mentally grab the Skycar and slam it to the ground like Darth Vader on a bad day. Lol. Nope. Shepard uses a weak-ass pistol, not even the Carnifex. Ike. To empty the thermal clip at thin air like a 7-year-old with a Nerf gun. Later on the lifts, you still can't manage to catch him due to the aforementioned plot shielding. Later in the fight, when you finally get to kill him, he's still got supercharged shields that make it a royal pain to get through. Once you do manage to kill him, that's the end of it, right? Laughs Siniano. This sorry itch gets up and somehow manages to sneak behind you despite making a ton of noise, with your normally competent teammates oblivious. Until Shepard somehow gets a sixth sense feeling that something's behind him /her. The only redeeming thing about the way Kalen was written and coded is that renegade interrupt, which nobody can honestly say they didn't hit. I can't blame the character himself. He wasn't developed enough to really form a love or hate bond with. So really, this whole post was a waste of time, because I don't hate the actual character, I hate what EA forced him to be. Ted Mosby. A giant story to his kids about their mother, and then he glosses over her death, and tells you about his new girlfriend. And the story itself was about his new girlfriend instead of their mother. I was so mad at that asshole I'm not even sure what the actual ending was. Multi-Mel remark from Rising of the Shield Hero. Ducker. Handsome Jack from Borderlands 2. The reason why is when he killed Roland and held Lilith hostage in the one mission where you tried to save Angel. Duck Tammy. Dio. I couldn't watch JoJo at first because I was always so enraged at him. This may not be very popular, but after watching Legend of Korra, I really hate Aang from Avatar The Last Airbender. Spoilers. Aang had 3 kids with Katara. The eldest, Bumi, was not a bender. The middle kid, daughter, was a waterbender. The youngest, Tenzin, was an airbender. Aang would take Tenzin on special vacations and spend special time with him while ignoring his other kids. Aang was a terrible father. His older 2 kids resent him after his death. Toph wasn't much better. She neg-kept her kids, but she apologized, so I forgive her. The reason I hate Aang is because he seemed like such a great guy in Adler, but grew up to be an ass. It's so bitterly disappointing to see heroes fall. I can never look at Aang the same way. Imagine your father not caring much for you because you were not a bender at all. Imagine your father caring only for the airbending your younger brother can do. No matter how good your waterbending gets, dad will never really care. Macabell from ADR2. Kamoshida. I get there are villains in Persona 5 that have done worse things than he has, but I still hate Kamoshida the most. BBC adaptation of Sherlock. He's generally kind of an ass, but I didn't mind that too much. But there's one scene where he utterly humiliates Molly at a Christmas party for a laugh, and it is beyond ducked up. After that scene I just can't understand how anyone, in the show, or in the audience, could like him. Before someone else says it, Jar Jar Binks. He is and forever will be the single worst character in Star Wars.